Hello and welcome to the webinar, How Smart Builders Use Financing to Close Bigger Deals. I'm Scott Webb, editor of Aqua Magazine, and today we have with us Joe Garcia, industry veteran who needs no introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. Joe is director of national sales at Lion Financial, where he leads nationwide growth initiatives in the swimming pool and outdoor living finance space. With more than 2 decades of leadership experience spanning Fortune 500 institutions and entrepreneurial ventures, Joe brings a rare combination of financial strategy and field level sales execution. Joe, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks for coming. I'm excited to learn more from you today, as I always do.
Hey, Scott. Hey, thank you, man. Do I feel old after that? Decades of experience. Decades is a lot, but happy to be here. I'm excited to share some insight on how we can use financing to like you said, close bigger deals. And I'm excited over the next 45 minutes to an hour to talk about that. Some best practices really around educating uh, everyone on the call today and how we can educate the teams that you might have that can really this could really help them and help you as we go into the season, which hey Scott, perfect timing for this webinar. It's a great March. We're about to start April. The season is it's very in line now. It's already started, so perfect timing for this to do this.
People are getting excited. People are busy here already, sending crews out to get ready to open pools. And
Yep.
yeah, this is
Well, let's get started. Like I said, we have a packed presentation here. Please, let's take some notes. It's being recorded. We can take this afterwards with your teams and share it. We did this last year, and it was great to hear as myself or the team were outside visiting builders that they were able to go back to the webinar and use it as an educational purposes. So as we move forward, please, take questions. We'll have my contact information at the end. We have a team that can reach out now, but a couple of things first before I start the presentation. One, the one things I really believe in is this: it's experience, trust, and credibility. Each of those matter. And please, when I talk about that, and you see that the logo wearing my shirt or the logos on the screen, Line Financial, 2 weeks ago we celebrated 47 years. And when you hear that, and I think when Scott mentioned, introduced me about decades of experience, talk about decades. This is where when you have Line Financial, you got 47 years of experience. And you take a step back, what that translates to is some of the better lender programs with longer terms and broader thresholds. But we bring more to the table than just, okay, here's a product. And this is a piece of it, is the education piece. We're very big about that. We have a best-in-class team back in the office. We have a best-in-class marketing team that, pretty out there compared to Fortune 500 companies. And we have a best-in-class sales teams that are out and about in the field. So when you think of Line, you think of 40 years of experience, it does matter. And that's where we're doing what we're doing here today is to what can we do to educate and continue for y'all to grow. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. Again, a lot of notes, a lot of questions. The big thing is it's very good about to know about the whys and the whats, but it's how. How can we do this? So as we get started, one of the things is a lot of you already know Line Financial, but for those of you who do not know, like I mentioned, 47 years of experience. You see the backdrop. That's every individual in the back office. The great thing about this is this. We are all in one office, minus the sales team. What that means is if you have a question, we can go next to our neighbor, downstairs, upstairs. It's a quick answer. You don't have to wait 24 to 48 hours for an email to respond back. So that's a great thing. We have 115 people behind the scenes, national programs for pools, but anything in the backyard. I tell people all the time we're not just pools, but if it's a pergola, metal buildings, if it's a fence that they might need on their acre lot, things like that we can do. The key here for me is we're veteran owned. Please use that when you're talking to clients about Line Financial. One out of every four, and I'll get into more details in a minute, loans that we do is for veteran. And again, the 47 years brings exclusive relationships with lenders that will help you and your teams and more importantly, your clients. Now, as far as talking about financing, let's talk about the current environment, where we're at today. Customers and everyone, they're more deliberate on their decision making right now. And what that means is this. When you talk financing, instead of waiting 2 or 3 weeks to have the customer sign a contract, you probably cut it by more than half when you introduce financing right off the bat. So it's key on the timing of when you talk finance versus not talking at all. So, every lead's important. Time is important. We're about to get into a very busy season where you start getting jobs here and there. That becomes important. So when you can talk finance from the beginning and they can get pre-approved that much faster, then guess what happens? It's a domino effect. They sign a contract that much faster, you're digging that much faster, and then you go to the next project. Again, talking finance beginning, it increases the focus on budget. And I'll touch more about that here in a few minutes. But uh, the customer is thinking when you walk into their house or they walk into your office, can I even afford this? And focus on the budget is going to allow them to walk away or you walk away and they're like, man, not only can I afford this, but can I afford a little bit more? So that's going to be the key here. In customers, this is the perfect time for them to really preserve the cash and leave it where it's at, meaning the market. It's the perfect time to take that 50,000 they might have handy or the 100,000, leave it where it's at, and then borrow other people's money, and then they can pay that off. So, as the old saying goes, people with money borrow other people's money. So if you're going to assume that they don't need a finance, assume the opposite and ask them about financing. Uh, and as far as the affordability upgrades, a lot of customers think, man, can I even get that 1 by 1 inch tile, or can I even get a spa? Can I get the travertine deck versus just a brush broom, a concrete deck? These small details matter, and to the consumer, they might not think, man, I don't know if I can get that, or if I can get this. And by being deliberate and intentional in the tools I'm going to show you today, the customer will be able to get those things and more. So again, let's take some notes. We have questions here in a few minutes, but that's what we're looking for. That's the current environment right now as we have today. Now, again, as we move into here, 2026, we're about to start the business season. And for a lot of us, it's already started. So what we're going to do here is take a quick poll. And if y'all can kind of just do this real quick for me, spend the next 30 seconds doing this poll. This will allow us to see when do we introduce financing to consumers. So again, take a couple of seconds, click on your screen. First conversation, is it after the design, only if the budget comes up, or really or never is it ever used? So let's take a quick one, and then here in a few seconds, we'll be able to see what the results are, and then we'll be able to go on there. So, again, look at that. First conversation. Wow. 55% of you. I'm glad for those 16% that were honest and said, hey, we never really talk about it, or we really do talk about it. And then only the budget. Look at that. 35% said only if they bring it up, or rarely they'll ever do it. And that's key because for those, 35%, what we got to think about is, okay, how much money are we leaving on the table? Are we listening to our consumers and providing them solutions? Or like the last part, rarely or never, is that because we're kind of timid of finance? And I can tell you this from my experience being when I first came into financing, I was very timid. So I totally understand how that works. But again, that first conversation, that's where we want to introduce financing. Going back to what the initial couple of slides where I talked about of being able to uh, go ahead and sign that contract a little bit faster. It's because those of you that are talking about it right away are able to get them to apply right away and get that answer right away. And then all of a sudden, guess what? You become that sticky product. And by the way, take notes on that sticky product. I kind of like that. When you become that sticky product, they're going to remember you. So if you're one of the ones that talk about finance first, they're going to remember you, which means more than likely they're going to come back to you and sign that contract. And once you sign the contract, not only do you get that customer that you're going to build that pool, but then you have the opportunity to get referrals from that customer. And when they go through the process and if they see it's very easy, guess what they do? They get on social media, they talk to their family, they talk to their friends, they talk about you, they talk about financing, how easy it is. There you go. And that's what you want. So going back to 2026, it is the year builders win, and it is. I was privileged to hear this morning on some of our notes that we just had one of the best months ever in March, and we still have a day left. And all that means is this: one, thank you. You are talking about finance to a lot of clients. Two is the team behind the scenes and our marketing and our salespeople. But here's the key: it's that year. This is the year where we'll come back. And it started back in January. The first quarter ended in March, the way it is. Again, how we start determines how we finish. How we finish for the quarter determines how we start for the new quarter. So, a great time to do this. And why it matters, customers are ready. They're ready to move forward. They spent the last year wondering, should I do this? And we saw that last year. Now they're telling us right now, I'm ready. So be prepared. Let's talk about financing. The confidence of the consumer is it's there. And for y'all, the same thing. The confidence level is where it needs to be at. And again, financing. I talk about this all the time. Financing turns interest into signed projects. As soon as you talk finance, as soon as you talk about that budget, the faster they're gonna again you become that sticky product, and the faster it's on the contract. And again, the bottom line. Look at the bottom bullet. It goes hand in hand with the poll. Builders who lead with financing first win, and that's a proven fact. It's not a theory or a myth. It is a fact. So if you're not offering finance, offer it with new customers, offer remodels and renovations. If you're doing landscaping, if they need a pole barn or a barn, a metal building in the backyard, which in a lot of places nowadays, a lot of people are doing that. So again, lead with financing first. If you can, on your notepad, very top, big, 20-inch font letters, lead with financing. And right next to it, you can draw a little line next to it if you want to. I think that's a great little fun game to do. But financing piece. Now, as we move forward, let's see, one more. Financing. The advantage. Again, we talked about it. And again, if you can, just go ahead and screenshot this if you like. This will show you some things out here. But break it into payments. That's going to be key for the customer. When you lead in with, hey, this is going to be a $90,000 project. Again, you are concurring with the customer's initial thought, can I even afford this? Okay. And our job, meaning you or your salespeople or me out there, is as we walk into their homes or they walk into our office, is make them think of things to think about they were not thinking about. And they're not thinking about that low monthly payment, they're thinking about that high cost. Well, let's talk about that low monthly payment. Let's break it into payments. I love it when I hear, hey, it's an $80,000 project with approximately $800 a month. $700 a month, that equates to $350 every 2 weeks. That's $175 every week. That equates to about $25 a day. For those of you in Texas, that means a Whataburger with cheese and fries and a Coke. Everywhere else, that means a McDonald's and a Starbucks. That's what that means out there. So, again, break it down into payments. It's always great to go from here to here, and that's what you do. Now, when you do this, I got to tell you, it's a fact. It turns into a shorter sales cycle. Again, you become that sticky product. You become to where they remember that you broke it down. They remember the loan calculator you pulled in front of them. You remember bringing up finance at the beginning versus later. And guess what? Instead of them talking to 5 other potential builders, they're going to call Joe. And they're going to say, hey, Joe, you mentioned this. I talked to Lion, and guess what? I'm pre-approved. I'm ready. There you go. That's what you want, a shorter sales cycle. And then you can go to the next lead. Eliminates the sticker shock. I talked about that. You already know the mindset. Let's be proactive. Let's be methodical in our way of thinking when we go visit a customer. Let's not just go in there and say, okay, you like this and you want to design this. Here you go. Here's your project. What do you think? And based on the poll, 35% of us, that's what we do. And let's take that mindset away. Let's take it from here to here and let's show them and tell them you are able to afford this. And let me tell you how. Again, everybody's really good about the what's. It's the whys and hows where that's going to differentiate you from everybody else. It's explaining the whys and hows. I cannot stress that enough. It's another bullet. Go ahead and write it down. The what's, whys, and hows. But the whys and hows highlight those two. Everybody does the what, but do you do the why and how? And 35% of you said no. The 55% of you said, yeah, okay, we do. Great. Continue doing it. And all this, if you do those three, it equates to the last one, win more deals. You will do that. You will increase your average lead to sell ratio 30 to 40%, which increases your sell to dig ratio that much. And that's what you want to do. Imagine this. If right now you're taking 10 leads and only one out of those 10 is saying, you know what, I'm going to go with you, if that, how would it feel like if you get three of those leads to say yes now going forward? Times that by how many people you have in the staff. Times that by 12 months in the year. That's how much of an increase you can see on your potential revenue. Okay. So again, take this, take a picture of this. It's a really quick mindset, study it, and then we can apply the what's and hows as we move forward here. Now, the conversation, a lot of you do this, a lot of us do not. It seems very simple. I can tell you everywhere I go, I talk to, oh yeah, we do this. Do we? Do we ensure it's being done? I will take another picture of this one, but again, if you follow this process, and this is more of a sales technique, and again, a lot of the guys out there, they tell you what you want to hear. And trust me, I've been in your shoes. I ran a pool company for 2 years out here in Dallas, and I got to tell you, oh yeah, we do this, we do that. Then why is your lead to sell ratio 15%, 10%? So I started listening. I went side by side with them. I did some show coaching, meaning I went with them. I had them watch me do it. Then I had them do it, and then I gave them feedback to see that they do it. So we have to invest that little time, like we are today, investing time on showing you the hows and the whys. But let's do the same thing with your teams. And if that means us, that means you, but let's do it. Create a vision. That's the one thing we need to do. You will go out there, you talk to the customer. What is your vision? It sounds simple, but you'd be surprised. A lot of us going, okay, so do you want a geometric pole, or do you want a freeform pole? Let's talk about their vision. What does that look like? Plant the seed. Maybe send them an email before you even meet with them. Hey, here's an example of this, and put on there some fire bowls, maybe a palm tree here, and some, a little waterfall here, a grotto there, a bench. Start doing that, and then you talk about the budget. Let's talk about that from the very beginning. Let's not wait till after you design and then you sticker shock them and they see, oh wow, that backyard race is costing me $200,000. No, let's do it this way. Budget setup. Find out what the customer's looking is thinking about. In most cases, when I do my training, I teach you give them the budget versus asking for the budget, and I can teach you those techniques one off. But and then you finance bridge. Again, you do this, and then again, you talk about financing at that point. Bring it up. It doesn't matter, again, if it's a new build, if it's a renovation, remodel. And again, that right there, I put an asterisk on there because a lot of you have remodel teams that only focus on cash. No, talk financing. And a lot of you in this year, over the last 6 months, are talking about that. Please write that down. Financing, remodels, all the time. Do that. We're leaving money on the table out there. The tool we'll talk about here in a few seconds. It sounds easy. I hear it all the time. I use it. We as leaders have to sit there and ensure it's being done. Is that being done? The tools. If you're consistently using it, you will see that increase in rate to sell. I'm sorry, the lead to sell ratio out there. So, and then you close. Now, again, all this sounds simple. It's a quick 5-step, but ask yourself, is it being done consistently? And that's key right there. How often we're doing that. So with that, poll number 2, let's go into this right here. What's the biggest challenge you face when using finance in your sales process? Is it the customer resistance or the concern about the rates? Oh, the rates, the famous R word. Not wanting to appear salesy. I totally get that. Not knowing how to position it. A lot of us are probably in that last bubble. But yeah, please take a few seconds. Let's take a quick poll, and then we can touch on it here about that and kind of answer what can we do on that part. Um, but again, the key here, and you hear me say this over and over, be consistent, be intentional. As leaders, if you're a leader on the call, let's be very intentional on continuing focusing. There you go. Concerned about the rates. 47%. I kind of feeling that I was leading to, and then not knowing how to position it. So those two are the big ones, and really about the rates. Here's a funny thing. I get a lot of calls and conversations from builders and designers that, hey man, the rate this and the rate that, it might be a little too high. And but then when I talk to the consumer, I would say probably about 10 to 15% do we even talk about that. But let me tell you why. When I talk to consumers and asking about the rates, obviously I do mention the rates were where they were at 5 years ago. Think about that, 5, 6 years ago. Right now, the rates are normal. And for us, again, going back to the experience like I did with Lion, with the exclusive lender programs that we do have the best rates. In fact, I used to work in the banking world for over 20 years. And every single day, every single month, every single year, the home equity rate was always better than the unsecured rate. But not today. Lion, we actually have lower rates starting than some of the home equity products out there. So that just tells you the credibility and experience we have. But how we tackle that, when a customer talks about the rate and they call me, I talk about this. Hey, Mr. Customer, this is where you're at today. Here's a great thing. You got approved. That's great. Over the next year and a half, let's go ahead and work on your credit. Let's go ahead and once you do that, then you can probably take a home equity loan out and go ahead and pay this off. And then guess what? You got the lower rate. But here's the great thing. You're getting the pull that you want today versus the pull you might have to get in a couple of years. Think about that. The second thing I bring up to the customer is this. The more concern should be inflation. The one thing we all know that happens every year is what? Prices go up. On average, 3 to 5%. It could be sometimes higher than somebody else, but that's the big thing. It's worry about the inflation. And I got to tell you this, going back to what I said a minute ago, and again, another thing to write, please take notes. If our job is to give the customer things to think about, they were not. And this right here is one of those. Highlighted, bolded, italic, whatever you want to do, put it out there is make them think of things to think about that we're not. And this is one of those. Yes, they might be thinking about the rate, but if we do what we need to do, which utilize the tools and break it down to a monthly, weekly, daily cost, and then even compare it to a meal or something, to the ladies, how often they do their nails, to the guys, i.e. me, how often do we get haircuts every single week? Things like that. When you start doing that, they're not focusing on the rate. Now, I'm not saying it ain't gonna always happen. It is. But this is where Lion comes out. Hey, Mr. Customer, here's a great thing. We have a 30-year program, 10 more than anybody else. What does a 10-year more program means? Less per month. And when they hear that, okay, good. So when we talk about this, we talk about the rates. Again, let's be proactive versus reactive. Let's go ahead and talk about it before they bring it up and say, hey, look, don't worry about inflation. This is what I got for you. This is what we can do to help you out. We have Life Financial, 30-year program, best of best lenders out there. 47. You start doing that, and when they do that, they listen to the value of the finance company and the value of financing, and the fact that tied in. Hey, Scott, you're able to get that pull that you want today versus here in a while. So that's going to be the key there. So as we're talking about this, again, bring it up. I think the last thing we talked about on the poll was we're not even bringing it up. We have to. We have to bring it up. And again, this is where we come in. This is the difference between us at Lion Financial and a lot of others out there. We're more than a finance company. We're educators. If you don't believe me, well, no, I'm not a teacher. It's not that true. But I sometimes feel like a teacher, and we are. We educate. We've been around a long time. We have people in the company that's been there 29 years. Think about it. And what does that mean to you? Experience matters. The trust matters. In fact, 29 years is more than some of the other companies combined that have been out there. So allow us to teach your teams the things that we've learned over the last 47 years and apply it. And what you're going to see if you're consistently doing it, it's an increase on your average lead to sell ratio, which again, I know I'm saying it all the time, but it's going to help you with your sales to dig ratio. So great thing there. Talk about highlights. Again, a lot of you know about line, but if you do not, that first bullet, 10 more than anybody else. And then put on there 30 years equals lower monthly payment to your consumer. Programs available in a wide range. Oh my God. Our thresholds to get people approval wider than anybody else because of the credibility and the experience that we have. The programs we have both direct to consumer, meaning we'll pay the consumer directed to them and they pay you directly out cash. And then also the stage funding where we pay you directly. So we have the best of both worlds. We have that. And then the loan amount, 5 to 200,000 per loan. The little asterisk, that means per loan. We can do more than 200,000. But again, for those of you doing remodels or, even better, don't tell me, Scott, I know this one, the service companies. If you are a service company or a landscaping company out there in Arizona, wherever you're at, we do loans as low as 5,000. And what that means, guess what? That equipment pad that you're going to go replace, and it's only just that little filter system, replace the whole thing, finance it. Turn that five into a $15,000 project. Turn that $15,000 project into another 25. Spas, we do everything, even a fence. I had somebody that said, "Hey Joe, I got a pool in my house. I have about an acre. It's going to cost me about 35,000 to do my fence." Hey, I got you. We got your six, so we got it done. No prepayment penalties. We don't charge a customer. And get this, the average loan for a consumer is paid off on an average of 6 years, not 30, not one, but 6 years. So having that 30-year program is going to allow your customers to get that lower monthly payment, but they're going to pay it off early anyways. And then again, special military programs, and we do have special military programs because we're veteran owned. We don't just say it, we back it up. So that's something we do have out there. Uh, Now, project tips as far as line. For those of you that have multiple things, like again, examples, pools, and you have landscaping, outdoor pavers, we can do one loan and be able to fund both projects at the same time. So we're all able to do that. If we need to do others, we can do a separate loan for other stuff. If the customer says, no, I want to pay you separate and I want to pay them separate, we can do that. So we have options out there. And really what I like, again, going back to that top bullet, if it's landscaping plus pools, if it's pools plus metal buildings, if it's a remodel plus this and that, we can do all of that. And how many of you, and I can't see how many raise your hand, but how many of you have customers that say, I want to do this now, and I want to do this in 9 months, and I want to do this in a year? Uh, let's do it now. Let's save them some money. Like I said, inflation. So why not do everything today? You're saving them money, plant the seed, let them know the whys, and this is how we're going to do it right there. So that's the one other thing we want to do. Now, again, going back to financing and why financing, and this is key here. And this is again where after the call, take my number. I have a team now of about six salespeople that we go out and about and do training on Teams calls or in person, depending on the states. Uh, we are expanding. We're doing all over. But right here, this is the extra where we can help you increase your average project invoice by 30% by offering finance. When you offer finance and we go through the tools, you're going to be able to provide the customer that monthly budget is actually lower than I thought it was going to be, which allows you to come back and say, hey, Mr. Customer, you mentioned and you really wanted that travertine or that marble deck. Uh, this is how much we can do it for an extra $80 a month, an extra $20 a week, $5 a day. You stop doing that Starbucks once a week and you can do the rest of the week. You can get that travertine day. Hey, Mrs. Smith, I know you really want that spa. Instead of a 6x6, you want that 9x9 or something like Scott Webb has at his house, a 12x12 spa. Hey,
You,
this is how you do it. And when you start doing that, this is what happens. You put it into perspective. Like I said, a cost of a cup of coffee today. I have a peer of mine. Her name is Carla. She loves her Starbucks. She probably spends about $50 a day on Starbucks. Imagine that. That $50 a day turns into a freaking huge spa. So little things like that. And what can it add on your project? Again, that person that thought they can only get a pool and 400 square foot decking can now get a 7x7 spa with a travertine deck. The fire and water features, a lot of us do that. It beautifies the backyard. And here's the thing. How many customers, after you talk to them about this and they say, not today, I'll wait. But then they have that resentment afterwards. Man, I should have gotten this. I should have gotten that. And that's where this comes in. You remind them why they should do it, and then you tell them how to do it. Utilize Line Financial. LED packages, which are a big thing. Me, I just got to pull it a few years ago. That's the one thing I regret. Man, I wish I'd have got a little bit more LED lights. So if any of you know how to do that, please give me a call to show me so I can kind of get some more LED in my pool. I am wanting more lights, but that's one thing I regret doing. And again, talk about hardscape and landscaping. Nothing better than finish off the project and having that landscaping look. And for those of you in the call that do landscaping, I know your average is no longer 1,000. It could be 5 to 20, 30, 50,000. I've seen landscaping out there that are huge. Finance is the key to get that customer to say yes more often than not, and things like that. So again, as you hit the bottom of the screen, really a 10,000 between here and there is about $80. But again, when you talk to a customer, break it down. 80, 20 a week, $5 a day, sometimes four, depends on whose math you use, mine or Scott's. It could be $4 a day. And then what that equates to. Uh, Paint a picture to the customer. That's what we need to do. Like you do with the vision of the pool, paint a vision of what that looks like, how they can afford this. Throw it out there, a meal, a haircut, nails, lunch, little things like that. And it's those small details that you're going to find where they'll have that kind of information out there, will allow them to say yes to you more often. Now, okay, hey, Scott, this is my favorite. I know if I go over, it's because of this slide, but let me go ahead and talk about this team. This is the part right here. Again, take a picture, put a heart around that picture. This is Joe's favorite because when you call me, all you got to do is just say hello, and you have me a hello. We talk about this part, the calculator. I cannot tell you enough the importance if you consistently use it, and again, underline consistently. If you do this, because I used to do this with my team back when I was in the pool business, we went from not using it to maybe using it half the time because I know how the teams are. They'll listen to you one time and then out the year, and then they're like our kids. They say yes, 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 and then the next day, hey, what did you talk about yesterday? You got to repeat it. So just know this. You just don't repeat it once. You just don't call us once to ask us to train. It's a repetition. It's consistent training. But this tool right here, if you go linefinancial.net, we just updated our website. Kudos to our marketing team. It's best in class website. It's very simple, very easy. Like one of my buddies, one of my best friends likes to say, Scott C, throwing you a shout out, plug and play. You plug and play with this. Plug and play with the customer. Plug in a number. Plug in that 719 or the 699 promotional rate we got now. And what are you going to see? Guess what? Look at that. 629. Hey, Scott, real quick. I do a quick role play. Scott, you don't have to talk. I'll pretend you're talking. I'll pretend I'm hearing. I hear people talking all the time. But hey, so like Scott, 629 a month on an $80,000 loan. Scott's eyes are like, oh wow, this is a lot less than I thought it was. And Scott's initial thought process, Scott, you can shake your head, yes. Scott is probably thinking, man, I'm saving $170 of the budget I thought was going to be $100 a month. But guess what Scott's wife is thinking? I got another $170 to spend. So at this moment, team, whenever you bring up the calculator, and again, going back to what I said initially, the customer's already thinking when you walk in or they walk into your office, can I even afford this? I promise you, I've seen it happen over and over again that when you do this right here on a consistent basis, this is the moment that customer takes that away, that initial thought, and they're no longer thinking, can I afford this? They're thinking, what more can I get? That's what they're thinking, like Scott is. Scott doesn't have a choice. He has to listen to his wife. She's going to win this argument. It's not really an argument. It's more about this is what I'm going to do, Scott. So this is what happens. You get the consumer to think about things they were not thinking about. Now they're thinking, okay, I can afford this. What more can I get? But let's not stop there. Hey, Scott, how often do you and your family go out to eat a week? Scott's telling me 3 or 4 times a week. Each time he goes out to eat, it's about easily 125 bucks. And the average, and just studies show, the average, the consumer spends anywhere from 25 to 30 bucks a person. So get that. Okay. That right there lets you know as you're doing this role play, the average consumer spends when they go out to eat with a family is 25 to 30 bucks a person. So Scott spends about $125 a week on this. Scott, I want you to continue going out to eat. I want you to go out to eat every single week, twice a
Really?
week. That one time, guess what you're going to be doing now? You're going to be enjoying your pool, taking a nice glass of wine, sitting back, relaxing, and talking about how can I take over the world tomorrow. That's what you're doing. And that's
All
what we
right.
do. When you take $125 of savings a week, that's $250 every 2 weeks. That's $500 worth of savings. Hey, Scott, here's what I want you to do is take that $500, move it from that food budget over here into the pool budget. So in reality, Scott, you're really only spending 129 bucks of new expense versus 629 because you're moving the 500 bucks. These are the things you got to do, team. This is the stuff that I and my team and our team will teach you how to do. This is the stuff that this page right here in our website, in your customized website that you have when you sign up with us, this is where you win. And you win more than what you thought you're going to win. So I cannot stress enough, be consistent with this usage of the calculator. I really, after this call, you'll have information. Please reach out to us. We would teach your teams how to do it. We will spend 5 minutes talking about our products, the next 25 minutes talking about this right here. How can we help you? This right here is the difference between us and everybody else. We're not just a finance company. We're a company that does finance lending that will help you how to do that. Educate your teams, sales one-on-one, how to overcome objections, how to listen to our customers by asking and opening the question, which is key. Our guys are really good about asking that closing the question. Hey, Scott, do you want to pull? Yes, no. Hey, Scott, do you want to finance? No, no, you don't ask that. Hey, Scott, talk to me about your vision in your backyard. And that's when they give you all the answers. And the key to all this behavior is listening. Listen to what they say. So these are some of the skill sets and behaviors we teach your team that will allow you to grow. So again, when you talk about Lion, it's Lion Financial plus this, and that. We do a lot more than just financing and things like that. So again, if I can't stress it enough, take a picture, put a little heart, Joe in the middle, calculator, Joe's favorite. Now, increase your average ticket. I talked about many times. You use a calculator. Again, when you have a customer, and we all have those, especially those that are in landscaping or in remodels, they talk about, hey, they have cash. I'm ready to sign. Just offer financing. Bring it up. When you do that, you will see your average increase, your average lead to sell ratio improve on there. Now, something exclusive that we have, you see it all the time. We mean it, 6.99. We're not limited in states. We're not limited on who we offer. We don't have, customer doesn't have to have an 850 credit score just to have that. We talk about, wider thresholds because of the credibility we have with this lender. So 6.99, 20 years, and get this, zero fees, Scott, zero fees. What that means is zero fees to the consumer, zero fees to you, no upfront fees needed. There is no risk fee associated with. There's no fees. It's a zero fees to the consumer. Think about that. Take that average of 4 to 8% that others might charge a customer to do a loan. So the average loan, let's say it's about $200,000. You're saving that customer from paying 8 to 10,000 and only paying nothing on this. You have $100,000. Guess what? Zero fees on there. So take a picture, scan it. We can make some postcards for you, customize them, things like that. Like I said, best in class marketing team. We can really do many things for you. Now, we talked about this before. We're a veteran-owned company. We got your six. One out of every four customers are a veteran, active duty or veterans. We do that. You see the some of the programs. Again, if you're in an area, which a lot of us are, that have bases or have a lot of veterans, talk about this. One, let's do what's best for them. We care about them. We have an owner that is a veteran that deeply cares about the military, so much that we do special things that nobody knows, and we take care of them. So if you're in the area, please let's do that. In fact, when they do an application, the customer, there is a widget they click on that says veteran or active duty. One of the things we really do, we have people in the back office that are veterans. We initiate a special call to them. There's little things that we do behind the scenes to take care of our veterans. So do the same, take care of our veterans, listen to mention us and mention this as far as veterans company, and you'll start seeing customers say a little bit yes more to you. I talked about this a couple of times, and I'll continue talking about this. Best in class marketing. What this means to you. We provide you a portal that works on a consistent basis. That you're able to check the status of your projects. Payments, photos, the training. Circle that. Use us. Again, we have a team of 7 that go out. We do a lot of Teams calls daily. In fact, a lot of us in our email links, we now have a calendar that allows you to book with us. There's times if you haven't thought about this, and I put this in your head again. I talked about sticky product. Write that down. Little things for you. Sticky product. Become a sticky product by having a little pop-up event. That's another word. Pop-up event. Pop-up. P-O-P. Help me out, Scott. P-O-P-U-P-E-V-E-N-T. Yeah, pop-up event. Think about that. It's a quick 3 to 5 hour event, maybe once a quarter. It's a reason for them to come into your showroom, showcase your showroom, bring people together at the same time. It's your home field advantage. When you're in your office and you can bring them in for 3 to 5 hours for that one Friday or that one Saturday, all the ones that are on the fence. And then on top of that, you have Line Financial potentially being on site to support you or virtually support you on the spot finance. We will help you close more deals. We will help you do that. I've been to quite a few over the last 6 months, and I got to tell you, you're going from maybe 5 deals for that day, but because of finance and being part of it, you saw people have 42 contracts signed in 2 weeks, with about 75% being funded by Line Financial. That's what we do, and we can help you out. But if you're not doing that, call me or email me. We can help you think about pop-up events. It's a great strategy I used to use. A lot of you are doing that today, but if not, do it. It's very cost effective. You keep it in-house, but again, home field advantage, and you close more deals. And we do have the unique ID tied to you. Margin support. You see the pictures out there. We'll give you the postcards. The one thing I will stress is, again, another thing over the last year, Scott, that I really enjoy in the team is the QR code. Call me one off. I will show you how you can win with that QR code. That QR code equals sticky product. You will be famous. People remember you by name if you only show them the QR code, because before you leave their house or before they leave your house, you have them scan that QR code. The application pops up with your logo. So then when you walk away, guess what? They're not going to throw away their phones like they might do that flyer. They're not going to, well, I probably would, but not everybody else lose their phones. But they will have their application on the phone before you leave, or they leave your office. And guess what they do? They play with the loan calculator. They enter numbers. They see that they can't afford this. They can afford more. And guess what they see on there? Our logo, your logo. Then they see apply. They click on apply. Studies show when they click on apply, they see this QR code 6 times more faster to apply faster, 6 more times to get approval faster, which means 6 more times for them to faster to sign the contract with you. That's what that does. So reach out to us regarding your marketing material. We have a team that can help you with that, and again, being more customized. Another thing. The best in class team. We have an inquiry team. Take a picture of this number. This is where you can refer customers to if they have any questions. If you have that one customer says, "Hey, I'm thinking about applying," have them call this number here. We have a team that can reach out to you. We have a bilingual team, and just real quick, bilingual. We have a bilingual team across from the front end to the back end. If people need a Spanish-speaking person, it doesn't matter which process they're in with us, we can talk to them. But we have a team here that's very knowledgeable, experienced, that can talk to your customers about this right here. And then finally, please scan this right here. Information that is my direct cell number. For those of you that have been on the calls before know me, I no longer have a business phone. This is my new number. Please reach out to that, scan that. That's my email. The best way to get a hold of me is either via email or text message, just because I'm doing a lot of meetings or on calls, and my staff. But we have a team that is able to come out and meet with you either virtually, in person. We cover a wide range. We're one of maybe the only ones that can do that on a consistent basis, and really do this. Now, I will say this before I hand it off back to Scott. I was reading something last night, and talk about. I'm very big about the whys and hows. Why do we do? Why do some contractors don't actually want to fix their closing rates? Meaning, why do we continue doing what we're doing? And again, think about this. If you do what you've always done, you get what you've always gotten. So tomorrow, do something different than you did yesterday. Next month, do something different than you did last month. This quarter, do something different. And that different is this. Give us a call and let's talk about how we can assist your teams. Because here's what fixing means: training the reps differently. Don't just tell them what to do, to show them how to do this. Having uncomfortable conversations. It might be uncomfortable right now, but it will be later. It's easier to say we need more leads, but let's talk about how we can teach them that way. It can be long-term sustainment. When you talk about and we educate your teams, they will have better conversations, better financing presentation, but better yet, better control of the process. Leads don't change. So don't change your leads. It's the sales process. How can we do that? So, Scott, there you go.
Great stuff, Joe. I really can't believe my wife called you before the webinar today to lobby for a nicer pool. But when I really think about it, I'm not very surprised at that at all.
Yeah.
Very much like her. But anyway, we do have some time for a few questions. And so let's get to those. These kind of touch on some of the things you mentioned, but they sort of bring it home, I think.
Okay.
Um, we're seeing more homeowners hesitate because of rates now. How are successful builders keeping projects moving forward?
That is a great question, and the R word is still a on the minds of the customers, especially in today's environment. And the way other builders or successful builders, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, is bring up financing from the beginning. Because when you allow the experts, meaning us, to talk to your clients about this, again, what Lion does really good is we train our teams and on the whys and hows, not just, hey, offer them Lion and ask the customer, okay, is this okay? We go and explain the why and how. And I think that's where, if for those of you that have customers that are concerned about the rates, call us, give us an opportunity, because what we're going to be able to do is be able to overcome that objection and be able to speak to it directly. And the way we do that is this, going back to what I said earlier. Hey, Mr. Customer, you got to prove today. Okay, over the next 18 months to 24 months, work on your credit. I'm tying it back to them. The rate is because a reflection of the credit. Go ahead and work on it. But in the meantime, sign today, and let me tell you why. You're going to get the pool that you want today. You want that $105,000 pool. You're going to get that pool. You're going to get that spa. You're going to get that travertine deck, and you're going to get that water feature. If you wait 18 months, hopefully hoping that the rate changes, which they're not going to change, we're right back where they need to back that where they're at. The only way they're going to change is by the credit score. But if nothing changes, guess what? You still can get a $105,000 pull next year or in 2 years, but it's going to be less pull. It'll only probably be a pull and maybe brush rim deck. So we explain the whys and hows. Why it's important to buy today and focus on inflation versus just the rate. And when we do that, I can attest to this because I've done it many times. Customers are like, I wasn't thinking about that. And again, going back to what I said, give them something to think about that they were not. And when I do that, it makes sense to them. I hear it all the time. Okay, I wasn't thinking about, okay, okay, it makes sense. Then they go, and then they continue. So if you're getting a lot of customers that are saying the rate's too high, then are we calling line first? Because if they call line, this is the response they're gonna get from us, and we'll get people to apply. And that's the key. Once we get them to apply and they get the rate, they're gonna be probably they're gonna be approved a lot more with us, but we have a lot more happy customers.
Um, Joe, sometimes customers will start out saying, "Oh no, I'm paying cash," and then in the end, they wind up choosing financing. Why is that?
Because one, did we bring up financing from the very beginning of the conversation? If we go back to that vision and we go back to the slide that said, "Hey, where do we start the process?" Finance was number two. Vision, finance. And again, what that tells me is, does our teams have the right behaviors in place? Are they being consistent in those behaviors? And that's where we come in and educate your team how to do this. This is where you do it. This is how you do it. And that's going to be a key. Again, a lot of people are very good about the what's. Hey, go give me that lead. Go and get the application. It's how you do it and the why you do it. And we can explain to customer. But when you start seeing that, that tells me the behaviors are not in place. But again, what and the reason why is this root cause that issue. Why are we bringing it up at the end and not at the end? Why are we not asking for it? Uh, we're not comfortable talking about financing at the beginning. We're not aware of some of the questions that we can ask. We do not know how to overcome these type of objections. Again, this is what we do. We will educate your teams how to do this. And then on top of that is being consistent with that delivery, meaning you call us back a month later. Hey, Joe, can you join the call? You follow up in between. Again, it's a partnership. You in between the calls or the training calls, you're following up with your teams, asking, "Hey, talk to me about this. What does your conversation sound like when you're introducing financing?" And the way they tell you, if it's fluid, they use it. If it's kind of like, "Well, this is what I do," they're choppy, they're not doing consistently. And that's where us as leaders come in and follow up and ensure it's being done. Inspect the process. Do a little role play, like I did. And that's what we do in our training sessions. We do role plays. That's what you want to do.
How does getting a customer pre-qualified early actually change the sales process for builders?
Okay, so right there, Scott, let me define pre-qualified versus pre-approved. What we do at Lion, we pre-approve a customer, and let me tell you the difference. Pre-approved means we look at the credit, we can tell you this customer is going to get approved. All we need is to gather that information. The customer knows up front you're pre-approved or not, and if you are pre-approved, conditionally approved, this is what this means. We just need this, and that. Get that to us, and we'll continue along the way. But up front. Pre-qualified, which sounds good because it says, okay, soft hit on the credit score. It sounds very good. But here's what happens, and I think a lot of you probably have experienced this. When you have a pre-qualified person, it's just a high-level overview. They go through the process over 2 weeks. Then they're told, by the way, we found this. Imagine how that customer feels 2 weeks later that they're told because of this, then we can't get this done. They're upset. They're upset because at the company. They're upset at you because you referred them. That's what that means. So it's pre-approved. That's the difference versus pre-qualified. And again, if they're pre-approved up front, we would let them know up front, and that's better than waiting 2 weeks later.
Interesting. Um, I'm, I'm thinking that builders are really financing more than just the pool. How does that impact the overall project size?
Huge because again, a customer is thinking, they're thinking when they're sitting down, creating the vision for the backyard, they're thinking, okay, I want a pool, then I want this, then I want that. The key word is then, meaning future. Our job is when we talk about financing, let's get and this today. And when that happens, that average invoice, for those of you that do more than just a pool, if you do a pergola and you do an outdoor kitchen, or you do landscaping, this is where this helps you out. And when you talk financing, let's do this today. Your vision is to do this. Why not today? Get it at today's price versus tomorrow's price. Get it at today's rate versus tomorrow's rate. When you can do that, it impacts your average invoice. It gets a customer to sit there and say yes. But then again, you create more buying power. We owe it to our consumers to give them information that allows them to get it today versus later. And again, it goes back to the finance partner you have. If you have a finance partner that can only do one project, that only focuses on pools, that only focuses on home improvement, or they only focus on metal buildings, we can do everything. And that's where we can come in and do that. And no fees or minimal fees, fixed rate versus percentage. There's no upfront for line that the customer's got to pay via credit card or anything else. It's all done a different way. So that's going to be key there.
Okay, we've got time for one more today.
Mhm.
And our last question is, from a builder's perspective, what's the advantage of working with an approved buyer versus a cash only buyer?
It goes back the keyword, the buying power of the consumer. And here's an example. Here's a cash buyer. They're like this. They got the blinders on. They just focus on 50,000. I can only spend 80,000, whatever that number is. That's all they're doing. And as us, as designers or salespeople that do not know how to overcome objections or talk about this, they say, okay, I will design you this. And then that's it. The key here is do this and then do this. Take off the blinders, because when you take off the blinders and you're able to talk to the consumer, you can get this, and that. It's more buying power. You show them that you're under the budget or within the budget. Then you listen to what they told you when you ask that open-ended question about what is your vision versus what do you want. What's your vision? And they tell you, hey, Joe, I really want a pool that lights up pretty much. I want to be able to relax at night in my spa. And I want, I'm tired every night. I want to be able to walk out and enjoy my deck in Texas heat. I'll come back and say, hey, Scott, this is what we can do today with financing. We can get you the pool with lights across around your pool. You can get that spa with oversized jets that allow you to, relax your muscles on your back. That way you can sleep better at night, wake up fresh in the morning. You're able to get the travertine deck, which means a little bit cooler of a stone for you to walk on, so you can enjoy that Texas heat out there in those summer days in August. You paint the picture and you give them what you want. And you did all that by listening to the customer when you ask that one opening question. And the key there is teaching your teams how to listen and then come back and taking what they told you back to them and say, hey, this is how we can do it. So hopefully that helps, Scott.
No, I think that sums it up. You're helping for them to get what they want. And I think that is really at the end what you're doing here. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. Joe, I want to thank you for coming. I learned a lot as always. I want to thank our attendees for taking some of their valuable time to spend with us. And I know everyone's got a lot left to do today. So let's get back to the pool business and we will see you all next time.
Bye.